Welcome and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm not in the garden. I am going to do a little bit of worm tower care and checking on. I just wanted to show you a quick glimpse of what my setup looks like right now. I have the tray that I'm feeding in. I have the second tray, the third tray, and the last tray is the one that is just inoculating. It's just getting ready. And eventually it will be put on the top and the worms will eat from that. It has been a month and a half. So my first, well, a little bit longer because they started out in the blue bin and then I moved them into here because I was just very concerned about the worms that were crawling on the bubble wrap that I had on top, which is completely normal. Um, but I just didn't want to keep bending down. And then I didn't want like the food under my bed because I had a shallow bin also. I did not have a tall bin. If I'd had a taller bin, I don't think I would have been nearly as bothered. So I will preface that. Um, but anyway, the worms have become a part of the family now. They get checked on by just about everybody in here. My dog even takes a look see when I open it, but that is all neither here nor there. But I am checking on the food that I put in. I put in a watermelon rind. So you can partially see how I have it set up. I use this tray to just as a stand for the worms because sometimes they are still going in between the layers when I lift up the trays, and I don't want to hurt anybody. But I'm going to lift up the entire thing and we will work our way backwards. And the reason I'm doing that is because, see, I just wanted to check and see how many worms were down here in the tray. And I want to lift this up and see how many are in here. So what that tells me is that my tray is inoculated and I have mites down here. Since there's moisture, I'm not gonna worry about uh, moving them. Well, no, I take that back. I am. Just because uh, some of them look a little peaked, and so I want them to find their way back down there through other means. And I am not alarmed by this at all because they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. But that lets me know that there is inoculation in that bin, and the worms are now more than ever gravitating their way down there. So I'm just going to put it back, line it up, and check and see if I have any little squiggles, any little squigglies. And I don't. So what I do know is when I get ready to lift this other tray, so that was tray number 4. We lifted all 4. When I get ready to lift tray number 3, I'm going to have worms coming through here. And the reason why I anticipate that is because there were worms in this tray, which is the fourth tray still. So this is still tray number 4. And I kind of hold the the tray up a little so the worms are disturbed by the air and the light and they run back up. So it's not terribly, well, it's a little bit of sweat, but it's not too bad. What I am going to do though is add more bedding because there are already a good amount of worm castings in there. So I want to empty that. Here we go. So this is an inoculation tray. It will eventually come to the top. All right. So I move the whole thing. And it is a lot of back and forth. There will be even more worms on this tray. Under. So I'm going to hold it for a little while. I hope this is in frame. And they kind of don't take too long to go up. Sometimes they do because they're nosy. So, all right. So this will be my first tray that I harvest from. I'm gonna let it sit for the rest of this month and finish uh, letting them come through here and eat. It still has quite a few worms in it, so there's still work here that they're doing. And the only reason I'm coming in here and doing this is to check on this tray. The last couple of times I've opened my tower, I did not want to do all of this, and I didn't. Okay. So they're still in there chomping away, which is good. And then when I get ready, because there are quite a few worm castings, like if I wanted to, I could harvest these worm castings, but I don't want to yet. Um, I am looking forward to having a nice harvest of worm castings so I can make my compost tea. All right, so that is tray number 3. This is one of the ones that we'll be finishing. I put it on top of the inoculating tray, which is why now I realize I will have to check on. Oh, I'm sorry. It was in there. I wasn't paying attention. I realize I will have to check the white tray a lot more often, which is fine. All right, so that was tray number 3. So tray number 2. I'll lift it and see. Not too bad, not too bad. Just one peeking out. So I'm gonna put it in. All right, so this was the first feeding tray. And when I rotated the bin, there was still food, some remaining food in it. So I can tell you now, this tray is going to sit for a little while longer. Some seeds started. I'm just kind of doing away with air pockets and checking for plant life because I don't want plants in here. Put this here. So here is some banana in here. And this is a slow digesting, so it'll be here for a while. When I do harvest from wherever, because there are harvestable castings in here, especially around the edges. And I know they don't like to be disturbed, but I like to make sure my bin isn't, or my tower isn't going anaerobic and causing problems for the worms that I can't see. And then I'll be completely honest, I wasn't sure about the timing of switching the bin around, but the worms have done a pretty good job of eating everything that was in the bin. All right. And finally, bin number 1, which is the feeding bin. To date, I have never checked underneath the plastic piece on the tray, and I need to. So this morning I shoved some flowers, uh, my bouquet of flowers in there, and I stuck these green beans in there. I'm expecting them to grow in here, but I kind of don't care. because I'll just come through and get rid of it. So I put in a watermelon rind, and I just wanted to see if I had the volume of worms to handle it, and if I had the sufficient amount of material in here so I wouldn't notice any problems. And I'm so pleased to report that I do. So I wanted to make a worm ball, or wanted, the setup to be right for it. And I have to say, I'm really impressed. So I know this is going to take some time, which is why they've only been getting little bitty bitty scraps here and there. But I also put in some variety. I'm just going to close that back up and cover it back up. And I am very pleased to report I do not have an issue with gnats because this is in here. So we'll just go around. Like I said, I cut up a cucumber yesterday, and I just threw it in here because I didn't feel like putting it in my freezer bag of goodies that I have for them. I know these stems and such are going to take a while, so I'm just going to bury those and let them take care of it. I have faith in them. I'm also checking because I put some basil in, and I was reading after the fact that they may or may not like the basil because it's so aromatic. I shoved in a tomato that was on its way. There's some coffee grounds. I also put in a avocado skin because I wanted to make another worm ball. Oh no, I'm gonna put it back because he was climbing out of his little hidey hole. I don't want him to climb out. So there's a worm ball right here. I don't know exactly what they're clustered around. Oh, a tomato. The top of a tomato. All right. So I'll just put this over here. Um, oh, oh, there's another avocado skin in here. So I have more than one. Didn't see the sticker. And since I want to give them another spot to make a worm ball, I'll put that in there. Since I've just been adding my coffee grounds directly the um the bin, I'm gonna pull too much. I'm gonna leave it alone. Put my flour over there. Open this up. Put it on the top. Put it on the top. Okay. So that is the feeding tray. There's nothing to add. I'm just doing a check-in to see how that piece of watermelon is doing. I kind of hate when I forget. Even though I didn't do a feeding, I'm gonna give them some uh grit. And because I always forget and I do this out of order every time, every time. I'm just gonna swirl it around. And then I'm also gonna give them a little bit of worm shell. And they have not had their azomite either this month. So give them some azomite. All right. I'll be completely honest. I have yet to build up the courage to lift this up and go under here, but I kind of want to. But I just remember how difficult this part was. And I don't want to flick any of this across my space right now. So I'm just going to turn it over and I will work on a solution or get on with the getting on of opening that. So if you made it this far through my worm tower check, I appreciate you. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section below.